right, welcome back to American Sunrise. I'm Dr. G. Thanks for joining us. Time now for today's health news, sponsored by the Wellness Company and Under the Microscope today. A person in California has tested positive for the plague. Officials believe this person came in contact with an infected flea while they were in the Lake Tahoe area. The El Dorado County Public Health Department says the plague is naturally present in several parts of that part of the country, California and that general area, including the higher elevation areas in the country. They also urged people to take precaution when they are outside in these areas. The virus spreads to fleas from infected rodents. These symptoms usually show up within a 2-week period. But here's the good news. They can be treated with antibiotics if caught early. So if you've been someplace to one of these higher elevations and you have some bizarre symptoms, just want to make sure it's not the plague, since apparently the plague is back. A new administration in Washington, D.C. has brought a lot of positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. But there's a lot that you can do because the government can't do anything. And if you want to make America healthy again, it starts at home with each and every one of us, and that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from their doctors all the time on this network, and you know that their products are the gold standard to keep you and your family safe and healthy. They make sure you are prepared for whatever happens with their series of prescription medical kits. These kits contain an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks to assist in the proper use of the medications in the kit. Also, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss, so much more. These can help you stay healthy and live longer and a more satisfying life. Make America healthy again starts at home, you guys. Do your part, protect the health of yourself and your family. Go to twc.health/RAV. Today, give it an order. That's twc.health/RAV. Use the promo code RAV. That will save you 10%. Emily?
Dr. Gina. Well, protests have broken out in Washington, D.C. over the deployment of the National Guard and the federalization of the D.C. police. They want the National Guard out of the city, and here's how President Trump's Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller, responded. Take a look.
For too long, 99% of this city has been terrorized by 1% of this city. And the voices that you hear out there, those crazy communists, they have no roots, they have no connections to the city, they have no families they're raising in this city, they have no one that they're sending to school in this city, they have no jobs in this city, they have no connections to this community at all. But they're the ones who've been advocating for the 1%. The criminals, the killers, the rapists, the drug dealers. And I'm glad they're here today. Because me, Pete, and the Vice President are all going to leave here, and inspired by them, we're going to add thousands more resources to this city to get the criminals and the gang members out of here.
Let's bring in Ohio Congressional candidate Josh Williams. Josh, if you were in Congress right now, how would you be voting on this issue of keeping the National Guard in D.C.?
I absolutely will vote to continue the National Guard in D.C. You know, I was raised an eye at the idea of more law enforcement to provide safety and security to our communities. DC needs to be crime-free. We've seen a plague of violence, and I support the president's effort to make sure they clean up the city.
Josh, you ran a new ad for your campaign this week. We're going to take a look at it.
Without a father, in poverty, and without direction. And I beg God for forgiveness. I said, if you show me the way, I promise I will put in the hard work to dig myself out of this bed and dig myself out of poverty. And oh my God, did he start working miracles in my life. And at the age of 30 years old, I enrolled at the University of Toledo as a freshman. And at the age of 35, I was graduating from law school. You can tell just how scared the Democrats are of my candidacy. I know I'm ready to fight. I was born to be a fighter.
Touching a commercial for sure. Everybody, though, who runs, Josh, has a moment where they knew they had to do it. What was that moment for you?
It was in 2020. After overcoming being a homeless high school dropout and becoming disabled for 6 years laying in bed, fighting to recover, having 40 procedures on my spine, including metal being put in my spine. I fought to go to college and overcome and became an attorney and progressed in my career. But after the 2020 elections, I saw that I needed to go into public service and provide hope to a community of hopeless. We continue to have a generation that believes that they are victims. They refuse to claim over their lives. They look at government for solutions to every one of their problems. And I went into office not only to provide hope to that generation, but to provide solutions so people can overcome adversity and chase the American dream like I did. And that's what I've done so far in my career, and that's what I plan on doing in Congress.
I think that was really, really well said. Younger generations, they do act as though they are victims. They need to take more accountability and get more involved in their own lives. And I think that really starts with education. I know that Republican gubernatorial candidate in Ohio, Vivek Ramaswamy, he's been really talking about this a lot in Ohio. Talk to us about the state of education in Ohio and what you think needs to be addressed.
So education has gotten better in Ohio with the expansion of school choice. We had policies before that would hold kids hostage in schools that were failing. I was that parent that went to the school trying to get a better education for my son, and the door was shut in my face. And I used Ed Choice to provide my son with a great education. And eventually we were able to make ourselves into a great public school district, and he graduated from a public school. But I went back to bring change to Ohio, and I support Vivek's efforts to bring merit back to our teachers. We should be able to pay the teachers that are actually educating our students and getting better educational outcomes more than teachers that are there just to collect a check.
Yeah, for sure. What are the major issues facing the people of Ohio? We think about things like trade, we think about manufacturing. What restores Ohio, and especially the inner city areas of Ohio, to their grandeur, from just a few decades ago?
Yeah, well, just like most of the country, jobs and the economy are the most important issues. It's not good enough to go and get just an education, but to be a qualified candidate and have a job ready for you to be able to, get and earn a good wage and live the American dream of buying a house and raising a family. That's essential. So the trade policies that have come out of the Trump administration have really helped Northwest Ohio. It's shored up our manufacturing base, including our auto industry here in Toledo, where we produce amazing Jeep products and other products here in Toledo. And it's assured that, parents can be comfortable knowing that their kids, when they graduate from high school, they go to trade school, or they decide to go off to college, that when they're done with their education, there will be a job waiting for them so they can chase the American dream like I did.
Do you think that Vice President J.D. Vance is going to get involved in these races in Ohio, the gubernatorial race, or the race that you're involved in?
Yeah, we hope that the White House will eventually weigh into these races so we can avoid costly primaries. I'm not scared of competition, but we've had a congresswoman in Northwest Ohio that's been there for 42 years, and she continues to be able to build up her war chest as Republicans tear themselves apart in primaries, and that's how she stayed in office over the last two election cycles. I believe I'm the candidate that's going to win this race. I believe I'm finally going to retire Marcy Kaptur here in Northwest Ohio and bring change to the 9th Congressional District.
So if Vance got involved and picked someone else, would you stay in the race?
I will respect the decision of both the president and the vice president about who they want as the Republican nominee in this district.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to seeing what happens in that district. Ohio is a great Midwestern state. You're a blessed man to get to be there, and hope you get to represent it. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you for having me on.
All right, coming up, the chairman of the DNC advocating for a government shutdown. Why does he want to shut it down? We're going to talk about that next on American Sunrise.